Hi guys, do you remember Rupert Lowe, the guy who had a falling out with Nigel Farage, who was a Reform UK MP but now sits as an independent? Well, while Farage and his party claim that they want to move on from the dispute, it looks like it's going to rumble on for another bit. Lowe, according to reports, is taking legal action against Reform over what he claims is a smear campaign. Allegations are that people in Farage's party or close to it have put out rumours that Rupert Lowe has dementia. Now, this follows claims that Lowe abused members of staff at Reform and got into a physical altercation with the party chairman, Zia Yusuf. The question is now, who's going to win?
So we will be serving papers on various elements of reform in the next few days. And if they don't accept the error of their ways, then it will all be coming out in court, because what they've done is not only morally wrong, it is principally wrong, and it's not the way that you should treat each other, and certainly not the way that you should treat a fellow MP. So this is all going to be very public and very high profile. And the last thing this is going to do, Dan, is fizzle out, and a piece of detritus is not going to be left behind the caravan as everybody moves on, that's for sure.
So just to clarify, Rupert, are you saying that unless Reform UK retract what you say are smears against you contained in the KC report, you will sue the party?
We will be issuing pre-action letters very shortly. They're all in the process of they're being done as we speak. So they will be served shortly.
And is that the party or Zia Yusuf or Nigel Farage or all three?
I will do a little interview with you when they've landed, Dan. But I think this is about ensuring that people behave properly, and they haven't behaved properly. And this does happen to me. I've fought a few libel trials and I've had a few issues in the past. But I am not going to just allow people to behave like this.
You're not going to be another one of those carcasses on the road.
No, I'm not, Dan. And I think it's the country I want to put first. Yeah. It's not about a party. It's about the country. We are being led badly. We haven't got the right people making the right decisions, the long-term decisions on behalf of the British people. We are being taken for fools collectively. And at the end of the day, I think most people in Britain can now see that we need a change in the way in which we're governed.
Okay. Look, I'm no fan of Rupert Lowe, but I think it's pretty terrible if it's true that members of Reform UK are suggesting that he has dementia when it's not the case. But this begs the question, what did Rupert Lowe expect when he got into bed with Nigel Farage? What did he expect was going to happen when he had a disagreement with the party leader? I keep saying this. It's a one-man show. Nigel Farage is the dictator of Reform. There's not going to be any democracy within that party. It's his party. It's his company. He calls the shots, and he doesn't share power with anyone. There are people in Reform UK who are very happy to be servants of Farage. They understand that, look, there's a way for me to progress within the party, or there's a way for me to boost my profile, but there's a limit, there's a ceiling. I can never get beyond a certain point. And I think people like Lee Anderson and Richard Tice understand that they will never be the leader. Of course, Tice was the leader in the past, but that was because Farage allowed that to happen. But you're not going to usurp Farage. You will be the leader if he decides that. You'll be the chairman if he decides. You will be whatever if he decides. So it seems Rupert Lowe got a bit too big for his boots, like Ben Habib. And Farage saw this as a threat. Now, who's going to win out of this? Well, I think Farage is going to eventually win out of this, because while Rupert Lowe has a lot of support online and within the far right, the general public don't even know who he is. Some people may remember some of his outbursts at PMQs. But apart from that, The general public don't really know who he is. And I think what he's trying to do here is he's trying to maintain a profile because he's perhaps going to form a party of his own, an alternative to Reform. Now, this would be great because it would, of course, dilute the right-wing vote. This would damage Reform if another party appears on the right of Reform, and it gets a bit of traction, if it gets a bit of promotion as well. But I think Farage at the end of the day is going to succeed here because he's a better political operator than Rupert Lowe is. Once again, I don't think Rupert Lowe is all that clever because he got into Reform UK expecting that he could usurp Nigel Farage. I'm no supporter of Nigel Farage. I'm no fan of him whatsoever. I detest the guy. But I understand that he's clever, he's very good at manipulating people, and he knows that, look, if there's a chance of me losing power, I will abandon this ship. And when Nigel Farage abandons your ship, it tends to sink. Look at UKIP, for example. So, once again, I think it's disgraceful if this is true, that Reform has smeared Rupert Lowe in this way. But then what did Rupert Lowe expect was going to happen when he joined a party like Reform? It's not a real party. It's just a bandwagon driven by Nigel Farage.